Hey guys, this is John. I'm playing QuadM in the 3-minute pool in ICC. Let's play b3 on move 2 against the Sicilian. I've actually faced this move a couple times in over-the-board Blitz games over the past couple months, so we'll give it a shot. Leads to some offbeat positions. This is a faster game, so it's useful to try to make black think. I'm not sure bishop b5 was the best move because you can just go bishop d7, and I'm not gaining anything by a capture. Yeah, I'm going to take the opportunity to just trade for that reason. Let's play knight e2. So I hadn't committed my knight yet, so I didn't have to bring it to f3. Knight e2 might leave options like f4 on the table if I want to castle and play for that. Wow, he beats me to the punch. He plays f5. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to take that. I feel like castling is correct. Maybe the knight coming to g3 and queen f3 to hit this pawn on c6. Could be in the future. I'd also really like to play d4, although at the moment that would that'd be too costly. That would amount to like a sacrifice. Okay, let's go knight g3. I'm going to pursue this plan I just mentioned. If bishop g6, maybe this move. So we're hitting c6, and he defends that weakness. Probably I should play d3, but then he's getting bishop e7 in and castles. So maybe I have to play this more aggressively. Rook e1. No, I'm just going to play d3. Not sure I like my position much anymore, but we'll see how it goes. He's just going to castle. Let's play this rook over. His rook is opposing my queen right now, but I don't see any knight jumps that are going to hurt me too bad. Knight d5. I can just play queen e2. You can come to f4, but it's probably okay. I can just go back to d1. So we have a position where black has the two bishops plus a bit more space, but I have a marginally better pawn structure. He has these double c pawns. I want to get rid of this knight. He's going to play h5 and shove the pawn down the board. That makes a lot of sense, in fact. Maybe knight e2 right now is a good move. Just prophylaxis against h4 happening. He can take on g2, but I take with the king. And, I mean, he has like one check, queen g4, but after king h1, everything goes away. Well, I might have handled the opening in sketchy fashion, but I am up some time on the clock, so that's helpful. Retreats the knight back here. Let's post this knight on c4. Ooh, actually, maybe bishop takes e5 in the future could be good. And then pawn takes, knight takes e5, hitting the queen and the light square bishop. At the moment, he has queen e8, but if he puts like a rook on e8, that tactic is working. Also, I'm threatening knight b6. I didn't notice that straight away, but that is a threat. It's very tempting to do this just as a sacrifice too, but it's not sound. Let's play queen d2. I'm hitting a5 again. Also, maybe this can help f4. I know he has bishop g5, but I was thinking I could just come here. There's knight d4, though. Do I care? I'm going to say no. I don't care at the moment. So if knight d4, I can't take the knight, because then he recaptures with one of the pawns, and my queen's is actually trapped. That's the only bad thing about his knight coming in there. He's under a minute now, though. He might just want to do it just as a pawn sacrifice, like even if I have knight takes a5. Maybe queen g4 is dangerous then. Possibly on knight d4, I should play like f3 in order to safeguard the position. f4 is also tempting. f4 he can take on e2. Yeah, that's not working for us. All right, show me what you got. Let's see the refutation. This is a really greedy move. Just knight takes a5, but he's approaching 30 seconds, and he has to play for an attack. Is the bishop coming to d5? All right, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to counterattack. Let's pre-move this capture. So the point is, if he takes bishop takes f4, I have this. Yeah, and he's pinned. Queen takes g7 is coming. Okay, so he takes there. I have this, or do I? You can take with the queen, and then he's hitting f1. Annoying. Okay, let's just back this up. I'm going to double up on the f file. Let's play h3. Probably some rooks are going to come off the board. Let's push this pawn. I think that's helpful. Let's go here. Take with the queen. Regarding g2, he's maybe planning rook f8. Ooh, I think he pre-moved that move. Yeah, if my queen was still on f2, rook f8 would have worked because I couldn't take it because the queen takes g2. Yeah, time got the better of him at the end there. I was making a conscious effort to play faster in this game. I know I say that like virtually every 3-minute game I played, but I hadn't played Blitz in like a week, and I just looked at my ratings, and I'm under 2,300 3-minute. Well, 2294 for this game. My 5-minute is closer to 2,500. So that's a pretty big difference. I've had trouble with this time control. So I think to get good at this time control, you just have to be extremely aware of the clock at all times, like much more so than in 5-minute, in my experience. So bishop b2, and they play d6. I guess there's a variety of things white can do here. I mean, f4 makes some sense, I think, to try to follow with knight f3. It is annoying for black that we have this bishop posted on the long diagonal. It frustrates any attempt for him to get this bishop fianchettoed. I think maybe after bishop b5, he should just play bishop d7, though. And in a way that like defeats the purpose of the pin, because I would like to extract some positional benefit by threatening to take on c6, like in the game. You know, I was threatening to give him double pawns, and I followed through with that and did. But if he just plays bishop d7, it's kind of like, what is my bishop doing here? Unless I want to voluntarily trade, but I haven't gained anything from that, at least in my eyes. So instead, he played e5,
Check.
and I just took before he had a chance to change his mind. And then knight e2, f5. This is a little surprising, but it worked out well for him. Maybe I should go for a different plan roundabout here. I'm not sure. Knight g3 followed by queen f3. It's just pseudo activity, I think. I mean, once he retreats the bishop and defends the c6 pawn, you saw how easy it was for him to get coordinated and complete his development. Bishop e7 and castles. Maybe f4 is better. Just trying to push and break up this pawn. Then if e4, he's blocking his own light square bishop. Perhaps knight g3 gains in strength now. I mean, I could see if bishop g6, then f5, and maybe this pawn is hard to defend. Let me just throw on the engine and see what it thinks about this position. Yeah, f4 looks like a good move. Instead, I just played knight g3 straight away. Continued with this faulty idea. And I felt like I was probably worse, but I didn't see a concrete blow for him to take advantage. So the computer likes what he did. In retrospect, queen e2 was not smart. I should have just gone back to d1 straight away, considering that his knight is coming into f4 next move. So that would have been better. But queen e2, knight f4, queen d1. And I think he played well with his rook pawns. I'm not sure I would have played a5, because once my knight came into c4 soon, the b6 square was weak and the pawn was weak. Maybe he could have just played h5 straight away. Because this knight is susceptible to being chased by a rook pawn. I've said that in many of my videos. Knights on g3 and g6, or b3 and b6 on the opposite flank, they often get chased by rook pawns marching down the board from the opponent. So h5 makes a good deal of sense. So does a move like rook f7, just getting ready to double on the f-file. He's got pressure, and unless I can dislodge this knight and maybe play like f4, I think he's going to have an enduring space advantage too. But a5, I played a4, maybe knight c4 immediately was a little more accurate. Then I was just turtling up here. I'm trying not to move any pawns. Like, I don't want to disturb this pawn structure more than I have to, because I feel like if I push any of those pawns, it's going to be easier for him to attack me. You know, for instance, like, okay, this is just a blunder, but if I were to play h4, I'm running into bishop takes h4, and it weakens some squares around my king. So I'm trying not to get too pawn happy here. He played rook a6. So I really wanted to pull the trigger on this, but it's not sound. Take and knight takes. This is a good tactical idea to keep in mind, though, in that position, because if he had occupied the e8 square, like with his rook, then this would be working. But as it happens here, he has queen e8 defending the bishop, and it would have been nice to knock out some of those center pawns, since this is a pretty imposing pawn mass, but it just doesn't work quite yet. So hence I played queen d2. And I saw he had this bishop g5 move, but I decided to risk it anyways. I didn't want to think for too long, and again, I didn't see anything. Like, I knew this was sort of scary looking for me, especially after knight d4 when I can't take it, but I wasn't sure if he would be able to find the best way of proceeding with so little time, and I wanted to keep up the pressure. So here, apparently, knight takes d6 is good. How does that work? Oh, okay, because of the loose rook on a6. That's very interesting. So if he takes on d6, queen c4 check, and we're going to pick up that rook. I do lose the pawn on c2 at the end. For instance, bishop f7, queen takes a6, knight takes c2 with unclear play, but for sure, if I had seen knight takes d6, I would have gone for it. Yeah, loose piece, undefended piece situation. That would have been a nice tactical blow to see. This move is extremely risky because I'm kind of giving him a free hand. I'm losing like 2 tempos to just win a pawn on the flank. Like knight takes a5, and almost certainly I'll have to retreat that knight soon. I'm giving him a chance to push on the king side. He also has knight takes c2 here. I have queen c4 check again, though, but queen f7, queen takes a6, knight takes e1. And importantly here, I cannot play rook takes e1 because a queen takes f2 check, followed by taking the rook. So why was that not available in the other position? Oh, okay, because, yeah, he wouldn't have been...
Check.
Yeah, okay. His queen wouldn't be on f7 for one thing, and also this rook will remain defending this pawn. Like, he hasn't taken on c2 yet, and then e1. So I took a5, he played bishop f7, and then I lashed out with this move. This worked pretty well in retrospect, but even here, if he would have found bishop d5, interesting reply. Does that work because queen g4 is coming? Let's see. Take, rook takes f1. So if I take with my rook, then knight takes e2 as curtains. So king takes f1, queen f5 check, king g1, knight f3 check. Aha. So he can even afford to give up more material. And if I take, queen takes f3, and guess what? Queen g2 is hard to stop, and queen g2 is mate. Look at all these pieces just uselessly observing while black executes his attack. Yikes. Yeah, I mean, that's almost impossible to see with 30 seconds in your clock, though.
Check.
So he did this and then took on f4, but he missed that I had rook takes f4. So that was a turning point, even though we were both very low on time. That was a turning point in the game. Bishop d5 would have been a nice move. And I can't take on g5, apparently.
Check.
But instead he took here, and then I got rook takes f4, and he found the best reply, rook takes a5, trying to deflect my queen so that he can then take. Now, my first instinct here was to play rook takes f7, thinking this is a desperado situation. Like, I take his bishop, and then take his rook on the next move, and I should be up a piece. That's all well and good, but he can take with a queen, and should I do this, I just get mated in one.
Checkmate.
Queen f1. I mean, this is just a small tactical sequence at the end of the game, but it illustrates how important it is to always see a combination through in your head as much as possible. Like, you don't want to get excited here and just play rook takes f7 because you think you've spotted a desperado. No, even with this little amount of time left, I want to go through my paces and make sure I'm calculating that properly. And fortunately, I was quickly able to see that this would backfire on me. So I just played a rook retreats and then doubled up my rooks, which the computer seems to approve of. It is equal material now, but I think with the outside passed a pawn and also the time differential, I'm going to win this game the vast majority of the time. Yeah, and the rest of the play was me just trying to flag him, honestly. Oh, he could have taken my pawn on a5. Here I could have played queen f5 if I wanted to get the queens off, although that a5 pawn is hanging again. I should do something about that. I didn't see that for another move here. Yeah, and he played rook f8. I think that was maybe a pre-move or close to it, because by playing king h7, his idea is to go rook f8 next. And if my queen is here, I cannot take it because of queen takes g2. So I spotted that. That's why I played that move. And unfortunately for him, he continued with the idea and lost the rook. Okay, so kind of an offbeat Sicilian going on here. Produced an original position, at least for me. Yeah, in retrospect, I wish I would have played f4 out of the opening. Right here on move 9, f4. And I think that maybe is a way to show the drawback of his opening play. I think allowing me to take on c6 and double his pawns, and also the f5 move might have been overreaching for him. Hope you guys enjoyed this game. I'll be back tomorrow with another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.